Today I'm gonna test my skill and challenge one of the greatest builders I know to a building competition. Let's get started. So it all started when I joined the LS Motion Community Discord server. And in this server, I asked anyone to challenge me to a build off. And luckily, I got an answer. And that person who replied to me is actually one of my favorite LEGO Minecraft builders. His name is Kaizo Bricks. This guy makes some of the best LEGO Minecraft mocks around. And he is probably one of the most underrated people on this platform. So if you liked his upcoming mocks in this video, make sure to subscribe to his channel. He will be at the end of the video. So this challenge has 3 rounds, each round having a different theme to it. And each mock has a building limit, except for the last one. And the first mock has a 3-day limit, the second one has a 4-day limit, and you have a total of 1 week to finish the third one. So without further ado, let's begin this challenge, starting with round 1, a block accurate starter base. So like a complete idiot, I actually thought it was a good idea to make a mob house, even though literally everyone hates them. So yeah, the first thing I built was a Steve treehouse. It was Steve's head on a treehouse, which was, I kind of liked that idea, but no one else does. So I started by building the head. So here's the Steve head, but I thought it looked a little bland, so I added a little bit of adjustments. I decided to add a farm at the top, and 1 balcony on each side of the head. 1 to chill out on, and 1 to enter Steve's head. Then I proceeded to build the terrain under it. Terrain complete. Now let's add stuff around it to make it look better. The next thing I had to build was the tree trunk where the tree house would hang from. Then I added some vines for decoration, and these were also used to support the entire treehouse section. When I put the Steve's head on, the tree trunk was a little short, so I had to add a little bit of length to it. Now the tree trunk is long enough to pass through Steve's head and even leave a bit more length for a tree later. I also built this little piece to lock the whole thing in. It just gives the build a little more stability. I decided to add even more greenery, such as ferns, around the whole base plate. To finish the treehouse, all I had to do was build this treetop. Then I added it to the whole thing. But after that, I felt like there was something missing. Oh, mobs! Steve's treehouse is now complete. I included the same play feature as the modern treehouse, which is that you could remove the entire house section and just make it a plain old tree. So now you could restore the jungle. Now let's take a look at Steve's head. The interior holds a large chest, a blue bed, a bookshelf, a custom pig painting, a crafting table, and a furnace. Literally everything Steve needs to survive in the forest. Let's put his big forehead back and view the farm at the top. So you could see Steve is growing some potatoes, and you could also see that the water that makes them grow faster is used as a water elevator. Next to that farm there is an ocelot, a chest, and a composter. So this was my Steve treehouse. Now let's view Kaizo Bricks' mock. Now the biggest coincidence of all time just happened where me and Kaizo both built a treehouse. That was a really weird occurrence, but here's his treehouse. Now that we both built our mocks, I made a poll on my channel for you guys to vote for your favorite mock. After that, all I had to do is wait until the next day to see the results.
The next day.
Alright, so let's check if I
Yo, call declined. Embarrassing.
So as you can see, Kaizo won that round by 90%, which to be honest is extremely logical since mine was goofy and his was more serious and cool looking. So now let's move on to the next round, which is a non-block accurate speedrun scene. So for this round, I went for a Stronghold scene where Steve enters the portal room, but there's gonna be a huge chunk taken out from one of the sides of the Stronghold, showing the scene a little better. And there's gonna be a special light play feature, so don't miss that. So I did some off-camera work to put the fairy lights on this base, and here's how the final result looks like. I kinda got carried away and built the entire inside of the portal room after that, but that's alright. Now I have to build on the floor, I have to add some details, and around I'm gonna build the walls and cover up the fairy lights. On some blocks I added two 1x2 dark bluish gray tiles to give them a stone brick look. For the iron bar windows in these portal rooms, I used this really cool technique where I use some 1x1 clip pieces for the iron bars because for some reason I have 0 nozzle pieces. That's very weird, but that makes a really good alternative. I also put some light bluish gray bricks behind the window because if I put some filler, it would look weird. Then I added items like a chest with a bucket and an axe, an armor stand with full iron armor, and a red bed. Then I placed them next to the end portal. Now if Steve dies from the ender dragon, he has some backup. Then I built this special torch piece with 2 studs at the back where you attach the fairy lights to light up the torch. Let's see if it works well now. Wow, perfect. It's even brighter than I thought. Now off camera, I dug through all of my clip pieces and I miraculously found one nozzle piece. So I'm gonna put that to great use later in the video. Now I'm going to give some parts of the floor a stone brick texture and another part of the floor mossy stone brick textures. So this looks a little more detailed and it gives it a more stone blocky texture. Now it's time for the mossy stone. And here we have it. Now the Stronghold section is completely finished. I just have to build around and over it to complete it. Now I just gotta add some life. Alright, for the moment everyone has been waiting for. Let's plug it in and see if the light feature works well. And here we have the full Stronghold scene. Now let's look at Kaizo's creation. So you could see he made this really beautiful double-sided dimension build. This is a scene when everyone goes into the nether and gets some blaze rods. Now all I gotta do is wait for the poll results tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright, so hopefully I win this round because if I don't, you know, the challenge will be over. Oh dude! Let's go! So I won round 2. Round 3 is gonna determine who is the actual winner of today's video. I am actually horrified for round 3 because round 3 has no rules, no limits, no theme, just anything. And for my round 3 mock, I chose to do some kind of sky village with a Japanese theme to it. So first I built a small village house. And for the windows, I used this really cool jumper technique and placed them on the house. And off camera, I built this really cool Japanese style roof. Now that we have the house and the roof, let's put everything together. This looks really good, but I think a couple lamps would make it look even better. Off camera, I built more structures like this dojo. And the interior has a bunch of cool stuff like this trapdoor play feature, which is attached to a second play feature which will be shown later in the video, so don't miss it. There's also Kai fighting a Ching dummy, which is just an armor stand, and behind Kai, there's the man, the myth, the legend, Sensei Wu. In front of the dojo, there is a really clever birch door design discovered by Ender Sam. Now let's take a closer look at this beautiful roof design. This took me so long to design and build, but at the end, it was so worth it. I also built this 2-story house, and when you remove the roof, you could already see the second floor, which has a bed, a chest, and 2 lamps. There's nothing on the first floor yet, but I'll get to that later in the video. Now that we have our 3 big structures, let's build islands for them. This is looking really good so far. I added some red flowers to give this as much color as possible. I also added another door at the front here. Before there used to only be 1 door, now there's 2. Now let's build the bottom of the island. I'm now done with the first house. Now I have to do 5 more islands. So here we have the 2-story house. For stability, I used this clever technique of putting a waterfall flowing down the island. On the side of the house, I added a farm. At the back, I added a birch tree. And at the other side, I added a pig pen. Now this module looks a little less empty. Next, we have the dojo. The already built part that you're seeing is the rest of the play feature. Now I just have to build around it. And here's the finished dojo island. I built this little cloud to keep the dojo from leaning forward. Now if you turn the dojo around, you could see that there's a basement. Now let's test this trapdoor play feature. All you have to do is put that zombie villager on the trapdoor, and then you pull this grass block, and he falls into the dungeon. To retrieve him, you must pull this torch, and this whole wall comes out. And now I have my zombie villager back. The next thing I built was this little archway. This is actually the entrance of the whole village. I also built clouds to put under the islands, to level them at the exact same height, and to give them more stability. Now I have to build bridges because sky villages do not have pathways. And I built a lot of these to put under the bridges for decoration. Then I built the actual bridges. And for even more decoration, I built some lamps. After that, I took my original bridge idea and I multiplied it by 4. Then I decorated the bridges with the hashtags and the lamps I built earlier. And this is the finished product. These bridges look so good. Now, let's connect them to everything. The whole village was so big that it couldn't even fit in my studio, so I had to go outdoors to even put it all together. And finally, here we have the Japanese Sky Village. Now, let's take a look at Kaizo Bricks' mock. Wow, that was amazing. It just uploaded a poll on YouTube, and now I'm gonna go to sleep and see the finishing results tomorrow.
The next day.
The winner is...
I lost.
Congrats Kaizo on being the first ever winner on this series. And if any of you are willing to challenge me, make sure to tell me in the comments below. Huge thanks to my channel members, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when I build a whole cow out of tofu.